Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here I'm going to show you the solution for IGCSE ICT Year 2024 Major Series Component 2 Database Module. In this video, I'm going to use Microsoft Access to solve the questions. So you need to read the scenario, okay? So you're going to prepare the reports, some reports, and the date must be in the format of day, month, year. And all the currency must in the same currency symbols and set to 2 decimal places. So you need to take note, okay, the currency must be actually shown in 2 decimal place. So you need to have a database software. So in this video, I'm going to use Access to solve it. I'm going to import the student CSV as a new table. So in order to solve this, we must create a blank database first. So I'm going to actually save it in one of my folder here. So I save it as task2 database and create a blank desktop database. So here I'm going to import the table, import the CSV file as a table. So we go to external data source. CSV is a text file. So when you import, you have to use text file over here. Okay, import as a text file. So when you import, remember to navigate to your folder where you save the source file. So I'm going to choose the student's CSV file, open. And because this is to import in a new table, so we need to select the first options, okay, as a new table. So click OK. So this will show us some preview. What are the things we have in this CSV file? So they are actually separated by the comma. So the comma here is the delimiter. So when you go to next, you will see that the delimiter will be actually changed, make all our data display like a table format. So what we need to do is we need to observe, okay, we need to observe the first row, whether the first row is the same as our field name or not. So you can see that they are the same as our field name. So you have to check the checkbox first row contains field name. Okay, then when you read the questions, you will see that it mentions row number is the primary key. So row number will be set as the primary key. Sometimes the question may not actually explicitly tell us which field name is the primary key, but then if this is the case, we need to decide the primary key by ourselves. Then what you will get is they will have some descriptions on each of the field, and you will see that there's one field with the unique, mentions that the data over here is unique. So when you see unique over here, that means this should be the primary key, because to become the primary key, the data in that particular field should be actually always unique. Okay, then we do have to take note, okay, we need to show our fees paid as a boolean or logical, and they must be displayed as yes or no. So you need to make sure your database is able to show them as yes or no. So when we import, this is the setting, okay, this is the table form where you have the field name, you have the data. Then we go to the advanced button to double check all the field have been imported correctly with the correct data type. So I will always check it in the import specification here. So for the course code until row number, they are all in short text. Okay, then for the DOB, date of birth, the format is DMY, day, month, year, which is already being set over here, and you can see it is a date data type. Okay, then for the street address, area, and the postcode, it is short text data type, so we can accept it. Then fees paid, it was written there, we want it as a boolean and show yes or no. So over here, you need to change it to the yes or no data type. Okay, for the logical data type. And then the payment type is a text data type. So just click OK to confirm it and then go to the next. This screen is also showing us the setting for each of the field, their data type. So if you didn't solve it in the advanced specifications over here, you can actually go one by one in the field, in each of the field, to change their respective data type. Then we go to next. So in this screen, you need to decide your primary key. So we have to choose our own primary key and point it to row number. Okay, this is our primary key. Then we go to next and just import, finish our import. So when we finish the import, always open the table. Okay, launch the table, double check first. So over here, you can see everything being set correctly, except, okay, our date of birth, because if you read the questions, you can see that the question required us to actually set it with the format DDMMMYY. So this is the format we want. And the fees pay is yes or no data type. So what we have to do is we need to do some formatting over here. Go to the design view. This is the data sheet view of your table. So we go to the design view of the table. Under date of birth, okay, under date of birth, it's a date data type, no doubts. But we need to go to the format. You need to change it to DDMMMYY. So this is the medium date, DDMMMYY. But if you're not too sure, you can always type in DDMMMYY. So it will also follow the formatting. So you can save it and go to your datasheet view to double check. So it works. Okay. Then the next thing we need to do is actually the fees paid. So for the fees paid, we want it to show yes or no. So the format, we set it to yes or no. And then we go to the lookup. When we go to the lookup, you can see that the display control is showing combo box. That's why you see the tick box in your datasheet view. So what we have to do is we have to change it to text box. Okay, we have to change it to text box. So once you change to text box, you save it. You go to the datasheet view. You can see that it is now showing us yes or no. So this is our first table. So after our first table, you have to prepare your evidence document to screenshot the field name and the data type for and the primary key. So what we need to do is just need to launch our evidence document. Do remember to actually put in your candidate's details. So you have to put in your candidate name, your center number, and your candidate's number. Okay, and your candidate's number. So this is the one in step number 13. So in step number 13, what we need to screenshot is you need to make sure you show us the field name and the data type. And since we did the setting for our date of birth, so we can screenshot like this as a proof. So you can screenshot like this as the evidence, whereby you clearly show us you have done the setting of DMMMYY for your date of birth. Okay, for your date of birth. So this is the first screenshot we should prepare. Okay, then next. In the next part of these questions, again you need to import another table. Okay, you need to import the course CSV as another new table in your database. And this round they have more descriptions about this table. Your level is actually integer. Okay, they must show in integer. The rest are text data type. Only the cost is actually currency, 2 decimal places. So we're going to set it as 2 decimal places, currency. And the start date should be in day, month, year formatting. So we can actually make it standardized, follow the DDMMMYY formatting for this start date. Then the course ID is a primary key. So you have to set it as the primary key for the course ID. So we go to our database, you can close this student table. And now we need to import the next table. So go to external data again. Go to the import under import section. Go to new data source, files, text files. So we're going to browse the source file and we select the course.csv file, open. Then this round, because we already have one table in the database, so you can see that you can append a copy of the record to the database if you need to add more record. But in this case, we need a new table, so we will again select the first option. Okay, So we go to the OK. Then here you can see the preview. Okay, this is a preview of the data. So go to next. So the data will be become each of the field and their record. So we double check again the first row. First row shows the field name. You have level, you have course name, and so on and so forth. So remember to check the checkbox. First row contains field name. Then we go to the advanced button. Okay, call the import specification. And we just need to double check again. Make sure we have the level is shown in integer. Okay, the rest of it should be short text. Then our cost should be currency. So set it to currency, and our start date is date with time. So just click OK to confirm it. Then go to next. So this is the setting for the data type. Okay, so we just need to go to next button and set the primary key. So this round, our primary key is course ID. So you need to select your own primary key. So from these questions, you can see necessarily the first field is you need to actually do some justification. Okay, either you read the question carefully, check is there any keyword showing that this field is unique, then it most likely is the primary key. Okay, then next, finish. We already have the level fulfill our setting. Okay, then we have another one which is our cost. Is that currency two decimal places, no problem. But we just need to change the format for our start date. So we go to the design view, click on the start date, change the format to DE and NN 1. So save it, switch to data sheet view. So now you can see that you have the date being shown in the consistent formatting. So after we have import the courses data, now we can prepare the evidence document. Just switch it back to the design view, and we're going to create the evidence. So just need to screenshot. Make sure in your screenshot you include all the field name, data type, primary key being shown clearly, and also the setting. Okay, so make sure you show everything clearly. So now we can move on to the next questions. Question number 14. So create a one-to-many relationship between the course ID in the course table and the course code in the student table. So take a screenshot to show the field and the types of relationship, then place it in your evidence document. So always remember, when you want to create the relationship, you need to make sure all the relevant tables must be closed. Okay, then we go to the database tools, choose relationship. So on the right hand panel, you will have the add table features. Just double click to add the table. Okay, in some version of Microsoft Access, they will actually show you the add table in a pop-up window. So do the same steps. You just select the tables needed and then add them in. Okay, so now we're going to link the data, make a relationship by pointing to the course ID. So click the course ID, point to the course code in the student table. So you point it, then enforce referential integrity, click the create button. So once this relationship being created, you can see this one-to-many relationship. So remember to save your relationship created and then take the screenshot for your evidence. So just need to put in the evidence number 14. So this is how it should look like. Okay, this is how it should look like. So this is your relationship evidence. So after prepare the evidence, now we move on to question 15. So in question 15, we need to enter the following details as a new record in the student table. So what we have to do is you just need to double click to open the student table. Okay, to open the student table, make sure you go to new records. Okay, click on new records and from here you type in the data given. So when we type in the data, please make sure you type exactly the same as given in the question paper. So we need to type in the record accordingly. Any single typo will actually make you lost the mark in your data key in here. Okay, so just make sure you type them exactly the same. So this should be R0561. Okay, then the date we just key in accordingly. So 1988. Okay, then the street address. So 54. And then the postcode. So here we choose no, and the payment type is check. So after you type in, just need to click on the save button to save the record. Okay, then it will be saved. Okay, it will be saved. Then you can close it. If you want to try to search it, you can always open to click to open. You can use the search box here. Just type in the primary key. So it's R0561. So you can see that the record is actually over here. Okay, so this is how we can see the record. Okay, after we enter the record, for this paper, I would like to add on a small questions here, which we will practice on how a form can be created. So I quickly draft questions on how we can we should create a columnar data entry form. Okay, with all the fields in the student table. Okay, it should be student table to display one record at a time. So here I do include some setting. We want the fees page to be in radio button. Then the course code should be a drop down list, and the data should actually come from the course ID. Then so that we can select automatically. Okay, then the gender should be a combo box. Actually, the drop down list and the combo box, they are the same type, okay, which allow us to select the data. So this will actually ease the data entry. And for this gender, we only allow male or female to be entered. So how can we create the data entry form? In Access, we can actually click on the student table, then go to the Create tab. Okay, go to the Create tab. Then you can choose either the form. If you use form, it will quickly actually include all the fields we have in the table. But if you want to have more control, for example, you want to actually easier to adjust the text box, okay, the size of the data entry, then we can use the wizard. Okay, then we can set accordingly. So the advantages of using form wizard is actually you can have the choice. Okay, you can choose if you have only selected field to be included. So in this case, I want all the field to be included, so we include all the field. Then we go next, columnar layout. Okay, then here we can actually set the title for this form. So this is the data entry for the student table. Then we open it for the preview first. Okay, so this is how the form should looks like. So we can go to the layout view. Okay, or you from here you can actually set it to the layout view. At this moment we are in the form view, so we can go to the layout view. Okay, to adjust. Okay, to adjust the text box size so that it won't be too big, okay, or too small for the data entry. So we can actually adjust it so that it is in a more sensible size for our record. So we can actually adjust the first name, okay, as well as the last name. So this is how we can adjust them. So this is the text box for the first name. Okay, then we do adjust for the gender, okay, and the row number. So for the gender, we need it to be in combo box. So we will right click, okay, change to,
then you can set it as combo box. So when we set it to combo box, by this you can see that it is a combo box, but this is not a working one. So what we need to do is we need to click on the combo box for gender, right click again to the property. So at the property, we can actually set what kind of data we want it to be included. So for the gender field, we want only the female and the male data to be selected by the user. So what we can do is we go for the raw source type, we select value list. And for the raw source at the build button here, you can type in female or male. And if we need to set any default value, you can select from here, or else you just leave the default as blank. So if we want only these two values, then go to limit to list, set it to yes, and then we don't allow the user to actually change the value, so you set it no. So by doing this setting, when you go to the form view, you can see that it only allowed to select these two. Okay, then we can continue adjust our other field, make sure they are in the correct positions. Okay, so we can actually select all of them accordingly by holding down the control key. Then it will be easier if you can use the arrow key to actually do the adjustment. So this is how we can adjust. I will switch to the design view, okay, to actually adjust this layout, so it will be more fast. It will be faster and easier. If you want to select the dimension, if you want to set the dimension of the text box accordingly, I will feel that using the design view will be actually faster, okay, and easier to adjust. So depends on which method you feel more comfortable. The advantages of using the layout view is actually we can have a look on our data. So when you have a look on the data, you can actually ensure, okay, it allows us to ensure that the space given for the data is actually enough. Okay, the space is actually enough to display the whole data, okay, the whole data in the text box accordingly. So this is how we can adjust them. So I can switch it back to the layout view, and then over here we can still do some adjustment to make sure all our data are shown clearly. So if you want to actually set the alignment, you can also click on each of the text box and then go to the alignment, okay, do the setting. So the next thing I want to show you is actually how can we make the course code as a drop down list, but this round this code is actually come from the course ID table, okay, course ID in the course table. So we go to the course code, okay, we go to the course code, same thing, just right click, change to, then we change to combo box. So this round, this is actually the data from another table, right? Okay, so what we can do is under the properties, we go for the raw source type, we select table or query, then get the build button to actually bring us to the query builder. So in the query builder, we select the course. Okay, we select the course because we want the data to come from the course ID. So select the course ID, you can run it one round to check is there any duplicated data. If no, that means it is actually a unique data, right? So that means this is the correct course ID or for the course code for the students to select. So once this is being confirmed, we can just need to close it and save the changes. So by doing these actions, when you go to the properties for this combo box, you can see that this is the setting. This is a select statement, how we can pull out the data from the course table. So by doing this, when you go to the form view, you can actually select accordingly. Okay, you can actually select accordingly. Then the last thing is actually changing the fees paid as a radio button. And to set the radio button, we need to know what are the value given for the yes or no. So in this case, we will have no, which is using 0 as a value, and yes is actually having -1 as the value. Okay, so what we have to do is in the access, you need to actually delete, because this one uh, pre-included. So we want to change it to combo to the radio button. So what we need to do is you just need to delete. Okay, delete the fees paid. Then I will actually give some space for this fees paid. And now we're going to draw the combo box. Sorry, we're going to draw the radio button. So switch to the design view again. And this round we're going to use the options group. Okay, we're going to use the options group to create the radio button. So select the options group, draw the space we want. Okay, draw the space we want. So at the label here, show out all the options you let your user to actually fill up. So here we have the yes or no here. So we have yes and also no. Okay, so next, we're going to set the value. So if you don't want default value, we can choose no. Then we go to next. Okay, assign the value. So over here, yes is actually -1 and no is actually 0. So if the question requires you to actually do the evidence to show us how the value being assigned, then this is actually the sections you should actually screenshot. Okay, you should actually screenshot to show to your examiner you have -1 and 0 to be assigned for your yes or no accordingly. Okay, then next. So here we're going to set the value to the positions, okay, to the field. So we go to the store the value in the field. Now point it to the fees paid. So this is another screenshot you need to provide. Okay, this is how we link it. Okay, then we go to next, and here we choose the radio button, and here we give the caption. So this is for fees paid field. Then finish. So you can also adjust it, okay, by moving the radio button to the positions accordingly. So please be careful because the radio button, the circle itself, have to follow the label accordingly. So when you do the adjustment, make sure you don't mess it up, okay? So this is how we can actually adjust it and try to make sure they are not overlapping. So at the end, this is how the form should look like. Okay, this is how the form should look like. And we can also add a navigation button. Okay, a navigation button to actually work as a submit or the save button. So to add the button, you use the button control. Okay, then you just need to draw the shapes you need and choose. Okay, let's say I want as a save button. So I can click on save records, use the wizard. Okay, use the wizard, and you can choose the picture format or the text format. Then over the command here, we can give a meaningful name for our button so that it will be easier for us to refer later on. So here I will use btn as a short form for button. Then this button is a function for save, so I will use save to indicate. So this is my save button. Okay, then I can create one more button. Just click on the button here. We can create the close form button. So just go to the form operations, and here we have the close form. So you can always go to different category to actually find out different actions for the button. So it depends on what are the actions we really need, then you create the button accordingly. Okay, so this is my close form button. So this is my close button. But I have two buttons. So I can save it, go to the form view. So when we want to find the record, this is how we flip the record in the form view. And if you want to close the form, you can just click on the close form button. So this will be closed. So after finished creating the form, now we move on to the next question. So the next question, question 16, using the field from both table, okay, from both table, to produce a tabular report. So what we need to do, select the record where fees paid is no. Okay, payment type is a check or credit card. Has a new field called late payment, which calculated at runtime. So this is the calculated field. Okay, this is the calculated field. So this field must display the new cost after 2% increase has been applied. So how the 2% increase have been applied? In these questions, they wrote down the formula for us, which is the cost multiplied by 1.02. And this should be shown in a decimal place. So show only the field row number, first name, last name, date of birth, course name, level, fees paid, payment type, cost, and late payment. So late payment is the calculated field. And please be careful here. This is the order we want the report to be shown. Okay. And in this question, it did mention do not group the data. Okay. Then after this, sort the data in ascending order of level, descending order of the course name. Then orientation, we want landscape. So fit in the single page width and print on 2 pages. So this you have to be careful. We want 2 pages only. And the title of this report is actually surcharge of outstanding fees in a larger font, fully visible at the top of the page. Then your candidate's details should be in the footer of the report, so it appear on the same positions of every page. So when we solve this report, you have to remember you need to create a query. So basically, the first 3 points show us what we need to do in the query in order to pull out the data we want, and at the same time we prepare our calculated field. Then the lower part is actually showing us how the report should be actually presented. So these are the things we need to do for our question 16. So to solve this, we need to create a query first. So go to the create tab using query design. Okay, using query design. So include the 2 tables. Okay, so you see by accident, I actually click the course table twice. So I will have one extra table over here. So we need to delete the extra table. So just select the extra table, press the delete button to remove it. Then you adjust it, make sure you can see all the fields. Then please select the field accordingly based on the sequence we want. So start from the row number until late payment. So we go for the row number, double click, okay. Then first name, then last name, then followed by date of birth, course name, then level, and then fees paid, and then payment type, okay, then course, and last one, late payment. So for the late payment, because this is a calculated field, so we need to derive the formula. So late payment is the expression. So we will do late payment colon, okay, colon. So the formula is actually, refer back to the questions, the formula is actually cost multiply 1.02. So we will take cost, okay, cost, you refer, this is your field name. So when you write the formula, when you write the expressions, you need to make sure the field name must be inside the square bracket. So with square bracket, and make sure you spell them exactly the same. So cost, okay, multiply 1.02. So this is how we get the calculated field. So you can run to have a look on your calculated field. And now my calculated field is actually number, but it is not a currency yet. So I need it as a currency. So what I need to do is actually go back to the design view. Just need to right click, property. So at the property here, you can actually set, okay, you can actually set the format. So this format, we want to format the currency. and then we set it to decimal place, select 2 here. So run again. This is the formula. Okay, this is the result. So the next thing we need to do is actually, so this one we already done it. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to do our filter. Okay, we need to do our filter. So fees pay is no, payment type is check or credit card. So we go to the fees paid. I can close the 2 panel here. So fees paid is actually no. So no, don't need double quotation because this is a yes no data type. Okay, then for the payment type we need to have the check and the check or credit card. So you can see check or credit card, so they are individual tags. Okay, so we need to write down the check, CHEQUE, check. Okay, or then within double quotation again, so credit card. So you can widen these sections to have the full view of the filter you actually put in. Okay, filter criteria you have put in. So run the query again. Now you can see instead of previously our table should have quite a long record. Okay, so after filter, now you only left 46 record in this result. Okay, in this query. So for these questions, I already done the criteria. We already done the calculator field. Now I'm going to proceed with the report. I will do the sorting in the report. Okay, for the sorting, I will do it in the report. So what we need to do is we need to save the query. So we save the query using the report name. So this is the name I'm going to save for my query. So we go to the save. So just save this query as surcharge for outstanding fees. So perform save. So you have the query being saved. Then now you can close this query. I'm going to create the report now. So click on the query, select the query, go to the create tab. We go to the query wizard here. So click on the query wizard, make sure you are selecting the query. Okay. Then because when we build our query, we actually put up the field in the order we want. So what we need to do is just select all of them and then go to next. Okay, so by doing this, this is going to show us how we are going to view our data. This is all the data showing in the record. Okay, record by record basis. If you select by courses, then they are going for the grouping. Okay, so we select the record by record basis, then we go to next. No grouping needed, so don't choose anything. Go to next. The sorting, I don't do it here. I will do it in the layout view, because if you do it in the wizard here, the field which you select as for the sorting arrangement will be bring forward as the first field. Then you need to actually change their order again. So I want to actually eliminate the problem of doing all this movement. So I won't do it here. Okay, we go to next. Then the orientation, we want it landscape. So we're going for the landscape orientation. Then go to next. So here we're going to put in the report title. So the report title, this is the report title. Just need to type in the report title. Then choose preview so that you can see how your report should look like at the moment. So we choose preview. So when we preview, you can see very clearly the date of birth. You see a lot of hashtag here, right? That means the data is not fully shown, and you need to observe especially how the data is being displayed. Like some of the field here, your field type, field name is not fully displayed, so we need to adjust it. Okay, so when we adjust, you will need to go to the layout view of the report. Okay, I will advise you to actually adjust it using layout view, because when you adjust using layout view, you can actually at the same time you view the record, you can actually see how the data actually being displayed, and you can make sure, okay, all the data are fully visible. So we need, when we adjust, we make sure you select the field name together with the respective data. So you just need to press down the control key on your keyboard, then you select the details of the respective field, then you adjust it. So this is a little bit time consuming process. Okay, so just need to make sure you adjust them. They are all fully readable. Like for me, I will do a quick adjustment for the first name and the last name. Okay, then it looks like we can have a smaller gap, okay, smaller space for the first name, so you can further adjust it. Okay, you can further adjust it. Then for the date of birth, you just need to widen the field and adjust it accordingly. Make sure the data are all fully shown. So every time you adjust, you do a quick scroll down to check, okay, to double check all your data are fully shown. So like this course name, it looks like animal technology and management is one of the longest data. So we just need to make sure it is fully shown. If you're not too sure, you can widen some more to double check. Okay. So over here we can see it is pretty enough for us to actually have the data to be shown, but then we just need to give it more space because we need to give some spacing for the field name, like level. Okay, so level, the arrow should be fully shown. Then the payment type, we don't need such a big gap, but the fees paid, we need slightly bigger space. So we need to actually do some more arrangement, adjustment, okay? And when you adjust, always remember to scroll down, make sure all your data are actually fully displayed. So it looks like I need more space for those data at the back. So I need to do a little bit more movement. Okay, so for the level, we need to make it more narrow a little bit. Then we have the enough spacing to show the fees paid as well as the payment type. And lastly, the cost and the late payment. So these are the adjustments we need to do. Okay, so all the data are fully shown. You can go to the print preview, have a look, and here you are having first page and second page of the data. So you see when I flip the page, right, you can see that the C here is not fully shown. So we need to again go back to the layout view. Okay, go back to the layout view. Again, we need to do a little bit more adjustment. So it looks like I need to give a little bit more adjustment to my payment type so that I have enough spacing for me to show up the full detail. So this is how it looks like. Okay, first page, second page. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we didn't group the data. Okay, we need to sort the data now. So sorting the data in the ascending order of level and followed by the descending order of the course name. So go back to our report in the layout view. Okay, in the layout view, go to the group and sort features and add a sort. So we select, we want to edit the level. So sort from the level, we want ascending order, so from the small to the largest, and then followed by next one, which is the descending order of the course name. So go to the descending order, so add another one. So course name, and we want descending order, so from Z to A. okay, from Z to A. So how should we check it? You can check it, okay, from the level ascending order. So level 1 until 3. Then based on the level itself, level 1, they are going to sort based on the course name from Z to A, descending order. So this is how it works, okay? So if by accident you choose wrongly, you just need to press the delete button here to actually change it or delete it, okay? Then add in the correct one which you wish to put in, okay? So if by accident you include the grouping, you just need to come here and delete the grouping you have done, okay? So this is the one for the report. Then the next thing, so this one we done already, and then the orientation done, and it is single page wide and 2 pages. Then our title also done. So now we need to add in your candidate's details in the footer of the report. So add in candidate's detail in the footer, we will go to the design view and we will set it in the report footer, because those things we show in the in the page footer, those things we put it in the report footer will only appear in the last page of the report. But here we want our candidate's name to be appear on every single page, so you have to put them in the page footer, okay, same position. So since this question never requests us to remove the title and the page number, we can retain it, but then we just use the label, which is the icon showing AA, use the label and type in your candidate's detail. So you need to put in your name, your full name, okay, then your center number and your candidate's number. So always have the habit, okay, just widen a little bit the record and then put it in the positions required. You can also have the habits to actually change the font's color to black color. So when you print it, it will be actually quite clear, okay? So this is your first page, this is your second page. So after you have done this, you need to save the report and then print the report. So just need to save it and then print it accordingly. So this is what we need to do for question number 16. Okay, so we done the report. Now you can save it. So next we go to question number 17. So in question 17, we need to create a labels, okay, a labels. And this labels is from using the fields from both table. So select the record where the course name includes, okay, here we use includes. So includes the text crop, and then the course type is university, sort in ascending order of last name. So use this selection to produce the label with 2 columns, 5 rows. So we have 10 labels in a page. So they give you the sample dimension of this label. It should be 9.9 centimeters times 5.7 centimeters. And in the portrait orientations, display the data for each of the field in showing this as a sample label. So you have the name, then the course type, okay, with the start date, and so on and so forth. So these are the details we need. Then have your candidate's details on the left of the bottom of each label. Modify the format of the label so that only the first 2 lines. So we want the first 2 lines, that means only these 2, are displayed in a large font, okay, larger font, center align and bold. So we need a special formatting over here. Then make sure the data on every label are fully visible, no overlap of the of any field, and then save and print your label. So same thing, the things on top here, we need to use query to pull out the data. Then after that, we use the query data to create the label. So to do this, go to the database, create, query design. So this round include the 2 tables, okay, include the 2 tables. Then refer to the label here, we select the fields needed. So we need the course name, course type, and date, start date. So let's start So we have the course name, then course type, then start date. Okay, then followed by first name, last name, street address, area, and postcode. So next one, first name, last name, street address, area, and postcode. So these are all the data needed. Okay, then we select filter. Our filter criteria is course name include the text crop. So include the text, that means you got something in front, something behind, start with it or end with it, we're going to take it out. Okay, so go to the course name. So start with, we are using the operator like. Okay, like. So the text is crop, right? So double quotation. We should put the crop in between, but because contains, so we should have the wildcard, which is the asterisk. So asterisk, crop, asterisk. So this is how we should write for the course name. So you can double check. So we just run. So you can see that those crop course name include start with crop, contains crop, end with crop, or we will actually pull up. Okay. Then the next thing we want is actually the course type is university. So course type, we have it here. So at the criteria here, you type university. This is the text, so it's within double quotation. So university, so double quotation, then runs it. So this time you have more data. Now after you put in the second criteria, you have lesser data. So we should have about 14 records being actually pulled up. So we can save our query. In this case, they never write down what is the title of this query, right? So we can actually use the hints over here. It looks like they're going to show some courses which include the name of the crop, okay? So we can put course crop, okay? Or you use the question number to save it also can, okay? Then you can close the query now. We're going to create the label. So click on the create tab, go to the label here, and we can customize our label. So customize, okay, I'm going to add a new one, or you just continue doing the editing here. So I just continue my editing. So my label here, we need a number across is 2 because we need 2 columns times 5 rows, okay? Then the dimension of the label should be 9.9 times 5.7. So we just make it, okay, I make it 9, and then here it should be about 5.7. So 5.7. Okay, so this is the dimension we want. So just need to click OK to confirm it. Okay, then we can close it and you select this one, go to next. So I leave it as a default formatting. So we select it accordingly. Oh, sorry, because I choose the wrong starting of my label. So I need to redo it. So go to the query here, go to label. Okay, so we choose the setting we set just now. So from here, you can double check. This is the correct one we have just now. Okay, already pulled out. So now we need to actually put them in accordingly. So be careful here because they are separated using a hyphen. Okay, so we go to the first one is our course name. So select, enter. Next one is a course type. Remember a space, hyphen, space, your start date. So enter. Next one will be your first name. Remember a space, okay? Space, your last name. Enter. It should be the street address. Then space, enter. Area, enter. And last one, postcode. So this is how the thing should look like. You can compare, okay? So this is the one which we want, okay? Required in the questions. And this is how we set it. So just go to next. The formatting of center align, we will do it later on. And I will just give it the same. When I do the sorting, I will all do it in the layout view. So next. So this is a label. So just click finish. So this is how it looks like. Now we need to do the formatting. Okay, before you do the formatting, you can actually view it in one single page. Now you can see I actually having 2, but 4 rows, 4 rows only. It should be 5 rows. So how should I adjust? Go to the design view. Okay, this is the layout view. Go to the design view. We have bigger dimensions, so I can just make it slightly smaller. Okay, in terms of the height, I make it slightly smaller. And I just need to make sure I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 rows, which is correct. Okay, then next one we need to do is actually our first 2 row, okay, which is our course name and the course type. Because in the question here it mentions, right, you have the first 2 rows in the larger size. Okay, so I set it, select them. Okay, make their font size larger, so go to format. We're going to the format tab. So the fonts right now is 8, so we're going to change it. Okay, make it more visible. I'm going to change it to 12. Okay, it is pretty big now, so I just need to adjust it. Okay, make sure it is readable, it's fully visible. Okay, and then make sure they are being aligned properly. If you feel that it is hard to adjust the position, right, just need to make sure you can use the arrow button. Okay, the arrow button to help you do the adjustment. Okay, then you can always go to print preview, double check. And when you do the adjustment, you just need to make sure all the data are fully shown. Okay, all the data are fully shown. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure they are actually I want to adjust it, okay, to make it occupy the space. Okay, then for this first two row, it need to be center align. So I just need to center align it, make the alignment, and then bold it. Okay, then don't forget we also need to, so here we already done, we already make it 2 times 5. Okay, portrait orientation, and we haven't do our candidates details, which is on the left of the at the bottom of the label. So again, same thing, your candidate's information is just to display, so we're going to use the label, which is AA icon. Okay, so at the bottom you just need to type in your full name, center number, then candidate's number. So again, the same thing, we can actually adjust the width. Okay, make it fully occupied, and then we can change the font color. Okay, change the font color. Okay, for the ease of us to actually justify whether it is center aligned or not, it will be good we actually draw a rectangle box. So go to your report design, there's a rectangle shape here. So click on the rectangle shape, you just need to draw the rectangle shape. Okay, by default this rectangle shape is white color. So we just need to format, go to the format tab, shapes fill, make it transparent, and then the shapes outline, we set it to black, and I will choose to make it slightly thicker. Okay, slightly thicker for us to view it in a clearer view. So go to the print preview now, you have a better view of your label. So you have 2 times 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 2 pages because I have 14 records. So this is what we need to print. So after you're done, you just need to print and save and print your label and make sure there's no overlapping. So just now we already confirmed. So that's all for the database task in this paper. I hope it helped you in your preparation. See you again, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.